So this is what appears to be Cuomo talking to supporters of his at a synagogue. I don't know why there's a picture with like palm leaves in the background or something. I don't know what's happening here. They're in some like contra insurgent camp in Nicaragua or something. I don't know what's happening here. But he's giving a little speech. Let's hear what he's got to say. Let's hear his reflections. I'm sure he's been doing a lot of reflections on the fat L he caught. Let's see what's up.
The primary was a shock to me. I never saw it coming, frankly, and I lost. And
you did lose.
It's embarrassing to lose, and it hurts to lose. And
it does not hurt me when you lose.
And the way it happened was even worse because all the polls had me up 15 points. And all the geniuses say, you know, you're up 15 points, you want to play it safe, And
the polls didn't say that. The polls showed like him up by like 10 or less and Mamdani rapidly catching up. Anyway.
He was nowhere on the radar screen, Mamdani. Just nowhere on the radar screen. So we played it safe. I didn't engage him. I didn't debunk him enough. I wasn't aggressive enough, which is really ironic because all my life I'm too aggressive, I'm too combative, I'm too tough. And then on election day, there was an historic turnout.
Can I just say, I hate people who say "n historic."
There was an explosion of the under 30 vote. Under 30 white socialists.
Okay.
Who voted 3, 4, 5 times what anyone had ever seen. And that totally changed the numbers.
This is true. But also, this wasn't like a unforeseeable coincidence or accident. This was like Mamdani and his campaign's explicit strategy from the start was like, we're going to try to turn out a bunch of new voters. We're going to focus on like young people and immigrants who traditionally don't show up to vote. We're actually going to try to reach out to those communities. And sure enough, like 30% or whatever of Mamdani's votes ended up being like first-time voters. So it's true what he's saying in a sense, except that he's saying like it's a big surprise when it's like, no, that like that's what your opponent was like openly trying to do for the entire time. And it's not surprising either if you know anything about polling, because usually polls are based on likely voters. And typically pollsters determine who's a likely voter based on who's voted in the past, which is why oftentimes those polls do not account for first-time voters, new voters. So everything he said so far is like was completely predictable. Like assuming, as long as you assume that Mamdani and his campaign did a decent job turning out new voters, then yeah, they're gonna have a bump in election results, and that bump isn't going to show up in the polling.
There were about 100,000 young under 30 who had never voted before. I lost by 100,000 votes, 400,000 to 500,000. The young people who came out, they were socialists and they were pro-Palestinian. And I would wager that in that primary, more than 50% of the Jewish people voted for Mamdani. More than 50%. Because with those young people, the under 30 people, they are pro-Palestinian and they don't consider it being anti-Israel. I am, as you know, 100% supporter of Israel. I went out and I spoke to that. I spoke to that everywhere. That's my tradition. It was my father before me. I was the most aggressive governor in the United States on behalf of Israel. I was the first against BDS.
You were one of Netanyahu's lawyers?
We did a number of trade missions back and forth. We're
Or
the largest
are?
Jewish population outside of Israel. And
I mean, hey, if he doesn't win any offices, he can always just keep being Netanyahu's lawyer. He can keep being Israel's best lawyer, you know? He's got a job. You don't have to feel bad for him.
I was proud to be the strongest advocate. But many, especially younger people, don't consider saying anti-Israel is different than being anti-Semitic.
Oh my god. The fact he has to explain this. He's at a synagogue. Oh, it turns out, when you claim that by opposing a government across the sea, you're also being anti-Semitic, it turns out young people and most Jewish people don't like that. Most Jewish people don't like it when you say that they must have dual loyalties to another country or they are in fact anti-Semitic. Most people don't like it when they say that they are against genocide and then you call them an anti-Semite. It turns out most people don't like that. He's literally blaming the Jews. He's like, he's like, all these young Jews not having dual loyalties, what's wrong with them? This is crazy. I mean, the main form of anti-Semitism going around right now, like, there are a lot of Nazis, but there's probably, I think there's more people, like, implying that being Jewish means being pro-Israeli. That's, like, the main form of anti-Semitism going around right now. And, like, to him, clearly, like, look at the subtitles here. The young people are saying being anti-Israel is different than being anti-Semitic. Because of course, Israel and Judaism are synonymous. You can't have one without the other. That's ridiculous. He's not even saying like they're related, you know? He's not even saying that like being anti-Israel is one way to be anti-Semitic. He's literally just saying like they're the same. He's having to explain to like a room of presumably out of touch old rich donor people that supported him and they don't understand why he lost. He's having to say, well, it turns out when you try to tell all the young Jews that they must have dual loyalties or they're anti-Semites if they don't like Israel, it turns out they don't like that.
Being anti-Israel to them means anti-Bibi's policies, anti-Israel government policies. And they are.
Yeah, being anti-Israel does mean being anti-Israel's policies. I don't know how else you would, like, what else would you be against about a government other than its policies? What?
And they are. And they were highly motivated and they came out to vote. And that totally distorted what was expected.
Oh, those Jews, those young Jews, they totally distorted what was expected. Listen to this guy, what the fuck?
And in many ways, it was a national wave that has been...
Like, Andrew Cuomo in this, like, 3-second soundbite has said more anti-Semitic shit than Zohran has said in his entire... I don't think Zohran's ever said anything anti-Semitic, to be clear. But, like, isn't, like, yeah, no wonder a fucking majority of Jews voted against you, Cuomo. Listen to you. Holy fuck.
Building. This socialist wave in the Democratic Party, this AOC, Bernie Sanders going across the country, the No Kings, brought out
Kids these days, they don't even want kings. What's wrong with them? This growing anti-monarchy movement in the Democratic Party, it's very concerning.
There are hundreds of thousands of young people at rallies all across the country, basically fueled by anti-Trump. But anti-Trump...
They don't even like Trump. Why are you like... So he's out here saying the problem is the no more kings and the anti-Trump protests? This guy's supposed to be a Democrat, right? This is insane. So the main groups he's blamed, besides just young people generally, and he hasn't like specifically said immigrants, but he must be thinking that because he knows it wasn't just young people who showed up for Mamdani. He knows it was a bunch of first-time voting immigrants. But the only other groups he's mentioned are Jews, New York Jews who hate him, mostly, and socialists, which he describes as no kings anti-Trump protesters. These are the people he's got a gripe with. It's insane. I mean, he does sound like a curmudgeon, but he also sounds like he's trying to explain this to even stupider, curmudgeonier people. You know what I mean? Like, he's having to like relay this very obvious message, and he's not like, I don't know. He's not trying to put too much spin on it. You know, he's reporting the facts to people he knows are already like inclined to one perspective, so he doesn't really have to narrativize it. He can just say like, man, these young socialists and their no kings protests and their anti-Trump sentiments, and he just like expects the old people to get it or something. It's just so weird.
Trump then fits with socialism, then fits with pro-Palestinian, and he was the perfect vehicle for this under 30 wave of reform and a new reality.
What? Alright, let's see what the comments say about this. Yes, you lost because Mamdani represented the voices of the people who oppose genocide. If you wanted to win the vote, you would A, be a better person who wasn't forced to resign in disgrace, B, represent your constituents' interests. That's true. The second comment, yep, that's why he lost. Young voters, including Jewish voters, don't support genocide or elitist politics. This was just crazy. Like, am I reading this wrong, or did he basically just flat out say, like, these damn Jews turned their backs on me, even though I was the most anti-Semitic guy, and they distorted the results. Ah! Look it. What is this? And they were highly motivated and they came out to vote, and that totally distorted what was expected. He sounds like a Nazi. He sounds like a fucking KKK guy. What the hell? It's bizarre. Alright, well anyway. Speaking of which, let's see some of his heroic supporters on the front line. I might have to turn this down. I feel like this is going to be a loud one.
Comply with Sharia law! We will not comply with Sharia law! We will not comply with Sharia law! Hell no! Hell no!
Okay, already? The very unhinged gay for Trump's guy. I've seen that guy at a bunch of like Trump rallies and stuff. He's always right at the front. Like, he lives for this shit, man. He lives for this shit.
Quiet.
He looks like a cartoon character.
Mahmoud Mamdani are both anti-Semites, communists, who equally hate America. Like father, like son, they pose a significant danger to the safety of New York City and America. I asked President Donald J. Trump to revoke the citizenship of Zohran Mamdani and his father, Mahmoud Mamdani, and have them removed from America as soon as possible. Now, I'm gonna read a few quotes. The quotes are very important. One is from...
Proudly we hail at the twilight's last gleam, whose bright stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, for the ramparts we watch were so gallant.
Is it just me, or does this come across like a skit in The Office or something? Like, I have to assume whoever's filming this is just, like, dying inside of laughter, because they're filming this like this is like a Michael Scott skit in The Office. Like, look at how dumb and, like, how little self-awareness these people have.
And the rocket's red flare, the bombs bursting in air, they proved through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled...
This is a fucking advertisement for Zohran. You know what I mean? They all look like such cringe losers. Like, what the fuck is this? They're like waving Israeli flags while singing the US anthem. How does anyone if somebody said there was going to be anti-Zohran protesters and they were going to be waving Israeli flags while singing the national anthem, I'd be like, no, that's too on the nose. That's like some Onion article shit. That's like satire. That can't be real. They're doing it. Look at them with their Israeli flags.
banner yet wave, for the land of the free and the home of the brave.
This guy who did musical theater for a semester in school and is like it never left him. He's been passionate ever since, you can tell. Over the land of the free and also Israel, and the home of the brave and also Israelis and not Palestinians. USA! USA! And also Israel. USA, but mostly Israel. USA! It's a good thing these people didn't try to clap, because they couldn't even, like, sway on beat.
Wait, Vicky, if she said they, Vicky?
No, Vicky.
They don't even know who that lady is, they're just yelling at her as she passes.
Beyond legal ramifications, LGBTQ plus individuals like myself in societies upholding Sharia law often face social discrimination.
Sharia law.
In this country, not a killing. These two young girls in Dallas, Texas. That's fucking disgusting.
Never again!
There's like 4 times as many Israeli flags as American flags there.
Alright, everybody shut up, get up on the steps. They're gonna do the anthem. Stop interrupting, please. Please.
Here today to say and to call for unity. Anybody except Mamdani willing to accept
You don't
any
even know his
candidate.
name.
Do not do New York City dirty. The last poll, Mamdani is polling at 35%, Andrew Cuomo at 25%, Curtis Lee we're at 14%, and Eric Adams at 11%. Governor Cuomo and Jim Walden came out with a piece.
Israel on us! And Israel on us! And Israel on us! Am Israel Ones! The people of Israel reign! The people of Israel.
Nice. Okay, well, that was completely unhinged, but in case we were wondering who was in Andrew Cuomo's coalition, it reminds me how Fox News had to stop. They got a memo to stop covering Zohran's policies because it was making him look too good. It's like they're gonna get a memo out that's like, stop covering the anti-Zohran protesters because they just make him look good. These are all the people who look at this old demonic looking guy with his Israel flag. What the fuck? Like you look at this flag of all obnoxious, oblivious white people waving Israeli flags, chanting USA and whining about Sharia law. Is there anyone who looks at this and thinks like, yeah, this is my team. These are my guys. I'm on the good side. I can tell because everyone here is terrible and scary to be around.
The quotes are very important.
They're not even comfortable with each other. This dude in the front has to keep yelling them down so he can like give his fucking talking point. It's so weird. This is all so weird. Look at look at this Hulk Hogan, mini Hulk over here. Oh man. Anyway, that was unhinged. Let us salute our unhinged weirdos who are out there. These freaks are out there, like...
New York City is nothing without pizza!
And we salute them.